So now next up, we have Gnosis.
Yeah, thanks for having us and thanks for joining. I'm Stefan, I'm the CTO of Gnosis, and with me is Friederike Ernst, CEO of Gnosis. All right, you can see my screen, right? Perfect. Okay, I'll be quick because we have a lot to share. Gnosis Update 2020, we recently released the Gnosis protocol. And at Gnosis, we are decentralization maximalists. And we built the Gnosis protocol as a fully decentralized exchange protocol, which means that there's no owner, there's no one who can pause the system, there's no one who can upgrade the system. And this also implies that anyone can list any token and can trade any token. And this is very important distinction to like most other DEXs, which are non-custodial exchanges, because what we see is we already today have a multi-token world where every day there are new tokens added to Ethereum, and any sort of exchange which has centralized components will never be able to cope with the number of new tokens that are being issued. And the other observation that we make is a lot of value is transferred to Ethereum, like Tether is now mostly on Ethereum, Wrap Ether gains traction on Ethereum, and a lot of stable coins are being issued on Ethereum. And there is no such token, such like the US dollar in the regular finance world that is used to trade everything against. But here we actually have more of a network of tokens which are all traded with each other. And so if you create a trading protocol, then there are a few users we have to really care about. And the most obvious one is obviously the trader, someone who just wants to trade one token for another. And those traders, they have only one thing they really care about, which is trying to get the best price. And so we were thinking about how can we create a new mechanism that works decentralized, but also allows to have fair pricing. And we came up with a new novel trading mechanism, which includes batch auctions, ring trades, and uniform clearing prices, which help us to get to the goal of fair pricing. So what are batch auctions? Batch auctions are quite simple. We collect orders over a period of time and then settle them all at once. And because of this, there's then no notion of a maker or taker because all orders are handled equally. And also the sequence in which orders are added to the batch doesn't matter because, well, in the end, they're all executed at the same time. And this is important in a decentralized network because in a decentralized network, we have information not available everywhere at the same time. And batch auctions allow us to collect this and make sure that at least everything is executed at the same time. One nice side effect of batch auctions are ring trades. And ring trades are, I can easily explain, like let's say someone wants to sell DAI for USDC, and there is no one who wants to sell USDC for DAI, then on a regular order book, no trade can happen. But because now we collect all these orders over time and they are all available at the same time because of the batch auction, we can try to find additional trades that are possible. And in this case, there is someone who also wants to sell USDC for Paxos and someone who wants to sell Paxos for DAI. And because we know all these orders are available at the same time, we are able to execute it and increase the liquidity on the exchange. So if you combine rings and batches, then we come up with something that we call multi-dimensional order book. So basically, instead of having order books for every single token pair, we just have one global order book where every order can be matched with any other order using ring trades. And this has a very significant impact on the liquidity of order books. So now the batch is over, we want to clear it. We have to find a way how we can make a fair settlement. And for this, we use uniform clearing prices. Every asset that is traded in one batch has only one price. And this is easy to find for like two tokens that are traded. But if you have more than 2 tokens, then this becomes an NP-hard problem where we can only try to find an optimal solution. And for this, we have to define optimization criteria, which in our case, we define as the trader's utility. And just to briefly explain what we mean by trader's utility, it is the difference between what the user was asking for and what he actually gets in the end. And in this case, here, someone just wants to trade 6 DAI for 6 USDC. But in the end, the clearing price is actually a bit higher, so he will get 6.2 USDC instead of 6 USDC, and this will define his utility as 0.2 USDC. So this is the mechanism. It should lead to fair pricing and ideally better prices, but this of course only works if you also have liquidity on the exchange. And so the second party that or the second user that we have to address are liquidity providers, and liquidity providers care about mostly returns and capital. And for this, we created a new concept, which we call the custom market maker. So custom market makers combine the capital efficiency of regular order books with the, let's say, convenience of bonding curves, or like, which combine the convenience, which combine the market efficiency of order books with the convenience of a passive trading strategy that can be implemented through a bonding curve. And if we look at a bonding curve like Uniswap, then what you essentially do is you provide liquidity over the entire curve, over the entire price range that is covered. So theoretically, you would even cover like an ETH price of 0 to unlimited. And now what we do is we discretize this bonding curve with single orders, and then you can deploy your capital in those in this discretized bonding curve, and you can set limits in like what part of the curve you actually want to cover. And just to give you an example, let's say you would set up the same strategy as on Uniswap, but with the custom market maker, and you would say instead of covering the entire ETH price, possible ETH price range, you would cover $60 up to a value of $960 per Ether. Then you would actually provide the same liquidity on the exchange, but using only half of the capital than if you would do the same on Uniswap. So how is GNO playing into all of this? There is actually a trading fee on this exchange of 0.1%, and these fees are included in the limit price and paid in the sell token, so the user doesn't really notice that there is actually such a fee. And then all those fees that are collected, they're converted into AL tokens, and then 50% of those AL tokens are burned and 50% are paid out to the one providing the best solution to the optimization puzzle. So to recap, like what is actually AL tokens? AL tokens can be generated by locking down GNO tokens, and then you can periodically create those AL tokens, which you can then basically sell on this on the exchange protocol. And the great thing is, for the user, there is no impact on the user experience. The user never has to own AL, but instead, this is traded, or this is automatically converted inside the protocol itself. So how do we want to go to market? The protocol is already live, but it's still like in the beta stage, and we are still testing the infrastructure that we have been building. Smart contract-wise, of course, it has been audited heavily, but it's still in the early stages. And the way how we would like to go to market is by creating an aggregator of DEX aggregators. So we were talking about the trader. Trader only cares about the best price. And DEX aggregators kind of serve this need by just combining all offers that there are. And now what we will offer is a new interface which will basically display the price of DEX aggregators together with the price that they would get over our exchange. So users can have very good transparency in terms of if they will actually get a better price on the Gnosis protocol. From the user experience, it will be like Shapeshift or like using Uniswap. It is really like a very simple transaction that has to do, and then just wait, and at some point, the tokens he wanted to receive will just show up in his wallet. And then on the other side, we have the liquidity providers, and for those, we will make it really easy to set up these custom market makers that I mentioned. And of course, there's still like some risk that eventually this will not work, and we are willing to take this risk by providing liquidity incentivization programs. We currently have one running. We pay out 1,000 GNO over a period, so like at the end of 1 month liquidity provision, according to your ratio in the overall pool. And this works quite well. We see lots of people are trying it out, and we probably will continue with this incentivization program. You can, right now we are still working on this on the other interfaces, but there's already one interface you can try out, mether.dev.eth.link, and there you can already try to do a trade or provide liquidity and just get a feeling for how the system actually works. Then the second product that I want to present is the Gnosis Safe. The Gnosis Safe is a multi-signature wallet. Multisigs are important because, well, they offer security that enables institutions and companies and bigger organizations to actually participate on Ethereum. And we have the most heavily audited multisig available and also the most trusted. In total, Gnosis multisigs hold over $1 billion worth of assets. And now you may wonder, like, what is the benefit, like the business benefit of doing this multisig? And multisigs, our assumption is multisigs will bring the next $1 billion to decentralized finance. And why is that so? So currently there is about like this is a bit outdated, but actually the amount, I just checked it before the presentation, currently there's still like about $1 billion deployed in DeFi. But there's also $1 billion which is held in multisig wallets by teams, and they're not using it for anything because it is really difficult to use so far. It's just not convenient, and basically you would always have to compromise multisig security to actually participate in anything, because usually you would just move the funds out into another wallet, do whatever you want on DeFi, and then eventually move the assets back into the multisig wallet. And that's why we extend the Safe with something that we call Safe Apps. And Safe Apps are a way how anyone can build DeFi integrations right into the Safe interface. Here you can see the example app with Compound. So you stay in your multisig, everything you do is secured with multisig transactions, but you can tap into the pool, you can tap into all the DeFi offerings that there are. And the great thing is it's open for everyone to participate. So there's an SDK, Safe Apps at SDK, where every developer can start building. If you are a company, or if you are a fund, or anyone who wants to deploy large amounts of capital on Ethereum, you should definitely check it out. It's available under gnosis-safe.io.
I'll speak about our last product and the Gnosis team and financials. I'll be speedy. So the conditional token framework is a framework for conditional tokenized payment, if you will. So it's fully on-chain and permissionless. Anyone can register any condition. And then you can make a collateral token conditional on any arbitrary set of these conditions that have been registered. So if you register a condition, and as I said, this is permissionless, so anyone can do it, you have to specify a number of outcomes, the resolution date, and the oracle. Anyone can build on this, and a number of projects do, including one of our own. So basically, there's documentation on our website. I put the link down here, but it should be easily findable. One of the projects that is actually building on this framework is our own project named Site. It's the first fully regulated prediction market, and had we known how long it would take to actually get a license for this, I'm not sure we would have we would have gone down that route, but we have the license now, so all is good. It'll be live later this month, so it will be heavily centered around political markets. For start, Stefan, can you go to the next slide?
Yeah.
But in principle, we can offer anything but sports. So we can't do sports betting. But we will start with politics. I mean, this is a very notable election year, so we'll see how that goes. As I said, it's built on the permissionless conditional token framework. Basically, it has a shared liquidity pool with all other applications that build on the same infrastructure and specify the same outcome tokens. The front end, however, is permissioned. Oh no, can you? Yeah. The front end is permissioned, and there's the market maker is also permissioned. So there is a Uniswap style market maker. It's an LMSR market maker that provides liquidity. So there's always a single price point at which you can buy up or down. There's streamlined KYC. Unfortunately, we have to do KYC. This kind of comes with the territory of being regulated, but there's simplified due diligence for EU residents. So you can trade up to $150 without having to upload anything. In principle, you can trade an unlimited amount of volume, but unfortunately, we cannot accept US, Americans, Canadians, and Chinese citizens for now. But if this takes off in Europe, we'll try and come and get you guys. Cool. Can you go to the?
Yeah.
Okay, so last but not least, so the Gnosis team and the financials. So basically, we are currently 63 people. We have 3 offices in Gibraltar, Berlin, and A Coruña, and we also have around 15 people fully remote. We are building 4 projects or products in total, and you have heard from 3 of those right now. So the Gnosis protocol and the safe that Stefan talked about, and the prediction markets that I talked about. And we are also building the Open Ethereum client. We are operating 1 blockchain co-working space, Full Node Berlin. And so if you're interested in having an office in Berlin, get in touch. And we organize 1 yearly community conference named DAppCon. It'll be in September. Hopefully it'll happen. So these are the financials. Oh, I have 2 minutes left. Fantastic. So we raised 12.5 million in Ether in a token sale in 2017 for 4.6% of the GNO tokens. Of the rest of the GNO tokens, 83% are not allocated yet and will help create network effects on the Gnosis protocol. 4% of the GNO are reserved for the team until 2025, and 8% of the GNO is reserved for consensus and the founders. In terms of current assets of the original Ether, we still have 160,000 Ether. We additionally have $11 million in fiat, and we hold strategic investments in a couple of ecosystem companies that kind of complement our vision and mission. In terms of income, the Gnosis protocol that's currently still in beta has so far raised $11,500. So we should be profitable very soon. And we also are getting an Ethereum Foundation grant for Open Ethereum. We currently have a burn rate of 7.5 million a year. So despite the fact that we hope to be profitable momentarily, we can hold out for a little while longer.
Cool. Thanks. Maybe just a last comment, because it felt maybe a bit that those products don't really relate to each other, or the relationship is not 100% clear. So the way, obviously, like what we're obviously looking into is how we can build safe apps for the Gnosis protocol for the 2 use cases I described, for trading and for liquidity provision. And yeah, it's also like basically for every prediction market that's created, all the outcomes from those markets, there are tokens, and there are the main issue of prediction markets so far has been that there has been very low liquidity. And well, the Gnosis protocol is basically a protocol that aims to maximize liquidity. And as such, we aim to make it the protocol to trade prediction market tokens, including obviously those ones that are generated on site. I can briefly, because KPIs are not, like Frederick mentioned some KPIs, but there are a few more. I can just look into, like we love Dune. We have Dune dashboards for everything we do to keep track of what's how successful we are. This year is currently the safe. So we have about 3,000, about 2,500 safes that were created. Those created over 20,000 transactions. The main competitor to our own product is our old product, which is the multiswig, which has about the equal amount of deployed contracts. And you can see this not only like multiswigs have many purposes, they also kind of like a very basic and fundamental governance tool. The old multiswig holds a bit more Ether, but we can see that there is migration happening slowly but surely. And last but not least, the Gnosis protocol. There we also have a dashboard. These are the numbers that Rico already mentioned. It's all transparent, all publicly available. It is still in the beginning. Totally, we had like 4 million trading volume over the period of time the Gnosis protocol was running. Again, like it's really in the early stages. There's still a lot of infrastructure to build around that has to be also tested. The only interface available is also in beta. But yeah, we have a plan how to do the go-to-market, and yeah, would appreciate any feedback from you guys. There's one question: how do you view the competitive landscape? How is Gnosis different from other DEXs? So yeah, basically, there are lots of DEXs, that is correct, but there's very few DEXs which are actually fully decentralized. And this is important for the reason that I mentioned, that there are so many tokens that if you are not fully decentralized, there will be a central party that will have to decide on which token can be traded. And if it's only on the actual decentralized exchanges, then there's really only Uniswap, there's Oasis DEX, and then there's us. And Uniswap and Oasis DEX, they both are prone to front running, meaning that if there is a juicy trade to make, then someone will bribe people to, or will bribe miners, or will enter a gas war to get this trade. And we saw this with the UMA token sale, where front running was happening, and where the ones issuing the tokens, they lost about $300,000 in a very short period of time due to this issue. And yeah, Gnosis protocol is a good step, I would say, in the direction of solving it, simply because we introduced this batch auction mechanism with single clearing prices, which ensures that at least everyone in the batch will get the same price, and this reduces front running, or the incentive for front running, quite significantly.
Awesome, yeah, thank you for that. It looks like we got time for one more question here. So not perfectly on topic, but Wilson was pleased with how you guys stepped up on taking the lead on Open Ethereum. So what was the learning curve like taking over an Ethereum client, and just like the general coordination process?
Oh yeah, it was a very, very steep learning curve. And I would also kudos to Parity, like the Parity team, which was very, very helpful and still is in making sure that we understand everything correctly. But it's a huge code base. It is like over 1 million lines of code, and it's using like an old version of Rust, which then makes maintenance quite difficult. I think something that we learned is that it makes sense to maintain an old client simply because there's so many optimizations that have been built into this, so many learnings that would be lost if you just start from scratch. And that's basically what we saw also with Nethermind. Nethermind is a great team and it has a great client, but there was a hard fork because they didn't implement something correctly. And there are so many small details that you would miss if you just start from scratch. And so it is worth the, let's say, the painful effort in trying to understand the entire code base and take it from there. And fortunately, we have a team that is willing to do this and also capable of actually doing it. And I know also the Geth team is appreciating it because, well, right now there's only 2 clients that really secure the network. This is Open Ethereum and Geth. And if Geth and Open Ethereum work closely together, then we can make much more progress because we can align on like what can be included and can deprecate old things faster, which does reduce the workload of both teams.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Thanks for the presentation. I guess to end off here, how can people find you? Yeah.
Yeah, so ideally just join our Discord. I will post the link in this chat.
Awesome.
Invite link.
Sounds good.
Good.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.